What's up, YouTube? Kristo here, and I've got a review for you. Quickly though, I want to give a big shout out to Eric as well as Daver from the Fragrance Bros. Both of those guys came up really big, helping me out to pick this up. Eric was selling this bottle on Facebook for an amazing price, and he wasn't shipping internationally, which is fine. So I called in a favor from Daver, and he hooked me up big time. If you can't tell, it is Amouage's epic, beautiful, woody, spicy fragrance. I absolutely cannot wait to wear this in the winter. It's just going to be amazing. So again, a big thanks to Eric and Daver. I really appreciate it so much, guys. So a big cheers to you. Just one of the reasons I love the fragrance community so much. So let's get into my review here. As you can obviously tell, I'm going to be looking at L'Artisan's Voleur de Roses. This is from my 12 fragrances for fall 2015, which I perhaps a bit foolishly committed to reviewing all of them this autumn, which, I'll get them done, I'm sure, I hope. But I've actually got quite a long history with this. I got a decant of it about 3 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was about 8 or 10 mil, and I went through it in just record time. I was just totally obsessed with it. Niche accessibility there is, very spotty at best, and I would find a place that would have it, and then it would go to stock, and then they would get it back in, but the price would be jacked up, and then it would go on sale, and then it would sell out before I could actually put an order in, etc., etc. So just recently, maybe about 2 months ago, the perfume gods were smiling, and I picked a bottle up very luckily. And I love this. I really, truly love this one. Dates back from 1993, so this has been around a long time. I was talking in my Kyoto review how that dates way back to 2002. Well, this one goes back almost a decade before that. So L'Artisan has been around for much longer than that as well. It's definitely a time-tested fragrance house, niche house, huge cult following for such a mainstream fragrance, niche fragrance house, and I'm totally one of them. If you're not too familiar with L'Artisan or perfume transparency, this is a house that you definitely need to look into. I'm just really consumed with transparent fragrances, and for mainstream niche, L'Artisan and Diptyque, in my opinion, are two of the best. Both of them make really great perfumes. L'Artisan's catalog is enormous. So yeah, they're both really great houses if you're interested in transparent fragrances. This one as well, this is really transparent. I love it. So notes, what notes do I get out of this? Surprisingly, I get much more patchouli than anything else. The note breakdowns basically everywhere online, including the L'Artisan site, are really simple. Basically 3 notes. I know that was 4. 3 notes, patchouli, rum, plum, and rose. And patchouli is the only note that I get basically from the beginning to the end. Nothing else lasts that long. There's a little dollop of rose and there's a little splash of plum. They're both kind of about equal. I don't really find one to be overwhelming, more overwhelming than the other. They're both kind of there, but the patchouli is just raging full on. So what does this make me think of? Really interesting, because the patchouli in this, it's very abrasive and scratchy and fuzzy. Patchouli can have, very different nuances to it. Some are going to be kind of heady or woody. Some are going to be fuzzy. And this is like the fuzziest patchouli I have ever smelled. So to me, as weird as it sounds, this smells like plum or rose scented Velcro. Now, I don't know why someone would create rose or plum scented Velcro, but that's exactly what this reminds me of, just how abrasive and fuzzy it is. There is a little tiny bit of headiness to it, but that's totally what I picture. I just picture like these really harsh, abrasive, coarse, round, fluffy Velcro strands. When I smell this, it's just such a unique fragrance. I love it. Like I said, with a bit of rose or plum scent in there, but that's it. It reminds me of Velcro. Now, in terms of performance, a lot of people complain about L'Artisan having poor performance, and it is often that transparent fragrances and poor performance will go together. Now, I'm not going to comment on any other L'Artisan fragrances and their performance, but this one I have no problems. I get an easy 8 hours out of this. I'm wearing this now. Actually, I wore it to school today. Put it on about 10:30. And it's about 5 o'clock now, and it's totally fine. Like, I can still smell it quite clearly on me. And I'm wearing like 3 layers, not including my jacket that I was wearing before, my 4th layer. And I had no problem smelling it whatsoever. In terms of projection, it's good. I think for me, this is about ideal for going to school, for being in a working environment. Maybe even for work, for some people, might be a bit too strong, but to be around people, I think it's ample without, worrying about bothering someone or smelling strange. Like, why does someone smell like Velcro or whatever? But yeah, I think both are definitely what I want, plus a bit, which is great. In terms of occasion, definitely this is, I think, like I've said a few times already, it's an autumnal fragrance, so I always see autumnal fragrances as more formal, a bit higher class, a little bit more evening wear, semi-formal, and I think this is, again, I think it fits the bill totally perfectly in that case. Season, yeah, fall, for sure. It was in my top 12, or my 12 fall picks, and I, couldn't agree more, of course. In terms of gender, I think this is straight up and down totally unisex. There is a bit of rose, there is a bit of plum, which may be seen as more feminine notes, but if you're a patchouli lover, regardless of gender, you will probably like this. I was going to say you'll definitely, but I'm going to say you'll probably like this. Now, prices on this is actually one of the problems I kind of had when I was picking up the bottle. I knew I wanted it, but because I'm so stingy, I was waiting for it to go on go on sale to get for a good price. If you're going to buy this at retail, I believe it's about $145 US online, like Lucky Scent or L'Artisan. You can get some L'Artisans, most of them actually, slightly discounted at the moment. You can get them very cheaply on Strawberry Net. I don't know, it depends on the exchange rate, but it's about 90 US or less for 100 mil, and it's about 120 Canadian for the same size, obviously. And they ship worldwide as well, which is really good. So definitely, if you don't mind going gray market, discounter, definitely the place to buy. Save yourself $50 and get the exact same juice. Now, for me, I think the positives for this, without a doubt, it is one of the most interesting, unique patchoulis for this price range I've ever tried. When you're looking at less than $1 per mil at a discount price, for something this high quality, I think that's a fantastic buy. And it is, well, I would honestly say this stands as one of my all-time favorite patchouli fragrances. Just like the unique elements, how airy and transparent it is, but how fuzzy and scratchy it is at the same time. I love that. Just the little hints of rose, the little hints of plum that you kind of pick up every now and again. I love that as well. I think it's a great combo. It reminds me of a few little things, but nothing that I can say is exactly the same. Negative sides to this one, if you're not into transparent fragrances, you might not be into this. And, if you don't really know what transparent fragrance is, I don't want to get into it too much, but imagine how thick it sits around you. So when you try something that's really heavy, dark, and sweet, usually, not always, but usually that'll be, quite heavy, thick, transparent, kind of feel it just lingering around you, like you can see through it, if you will, hence the name. But yeah, I think if you want something a bit denser, this might not be the path to go down. And there's a lot of people out there who do not like patchouli, who just hate it. And this is a very strong, to me, completely patchouli dominant. So that's a big careful there. If you're, kind of looking for a rose fragrance, yeah, kind of take the name with a grain of salt. I wouldn't say there's an overwhelming amount of rose in here at all. It's detectable, but it's definitely not rose-based. Overall thoughts on this, I love this. I really love it, and I'm so happy to have it back in my collection. The decant went so quickly. I'm so happy to have a 100ml bottle. I've made a decant. I haven't actually used this much out of it, so I'm carrying that around with me. Love it. This is going to get a lot of skin time between now and maybe the end of November, whatever. But yeah, there you go. Voleur de Roses from L'Artisan Parfumeur. So any thoughts on this? Do you pick up, the super heavy patchouli that I do, or do you actually get dominant rose, dominant plum, or perhaps another note that isn't really mentioned in the note breakdown? I'd be interested to hear. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.